Welcome, everyone. Today, we're taking a grand tour of India, but not the kind with buses and tourist traps. No, we're exploring its incredible geography. We're talking about a country of staggering scale, from the highest mountains you can imagine all the way down to its tropical island outposts. So let's dive right in. First things first, before we even get to the mountains and rivers, we have to talk about people. Because India is now officially the most populous country on the entire planet. And that's not just some trivia fact, it's the human backdrop for every single landscape we are about to explore. And get this, all of those people live in the world's 7th largest country by area. Just think about that combo for a second, a massive population and a truly vast, diverse territory. It's this unique pairing that makes India's geography so utterly fascinating and so important. Okay, so let's get our bearings. Where on the globe are we? India is situated entirely in the Northern and Eastern Hemispheres. But the really key thing here is its position, right at the head of the Indian Ocean. That spot has shaped trade, culture, and strategy for literally thousands of years. Now, these numbers really put that vastness into perspective. We're talking over 3,200 kilometers from north to south, and nearly 3,000 from east to west. This kind of scale is exactly why you so often hear it called the Indian subcontinent. It's huge. And, a country this massive is going to have a complex neighborhood. India shares its borders with 9 different countries. 7 of them are land borders, including giants like China and Pakistan. And then out in the sea, you've got the island nations of Sri Lanka and the Maldives. So now that we know where we are, how in the world do we even begin to explore a country this large? Well, we're going to break it down into 5 great physical divisions. Think of this as our itinerary for our grand tour. All right, here's our route. Our journey is going to start way up in the towering northern mountains, then we'll drop down into the incredibly fertile plains. From there, we'll cross the ancient Peninsula Plateaus all the way to the coasts, and we'll finish up by venturing out to the nation's islands. First stop, the mountains. We're starting our tour in the north, with what I can only describe as a great wall made by nature, a region that is home to the highest mountain peaks on the entire planet. We are, of course, talking about the Himalayas. The name itself literally means abode of snow. And this isn't just a single mountain range, oh no. It's a massive, complex system that curves in this great arc, acting as a pretty formidable barrier between the Indian subcontinent and the rest of Asia. The scale we're dealing with here is just breathtaking. 8,611 meters. That is the height of K2, which is part of the Karakoram Range up in the north. It is the second highest mountain on Earth, standing like a giant sentinel over the subcontinent. But, the Himalayas aren't just one single wall. They're actually 3 distinct parallel ranges that kind of step down in height. At the very top, you have the Himadri. Those are the permanently snow-covered giants. Below that is the Himachal, a greener range that's famous for its cool hill stations. And finally, you get to the Shivaliks, which form the rugged foothills, the last barrier before you hit the plains. Okay, from the icy, dizzying heights of the Himalayas, we are now descending into a completely different world. This is the fertile heartland, the vast agricultural engine that basically feeds a nation. The secret to this region's incredible productivity? Well, it comes down to a single word: alluvium. It's the rich mixture of soil, sand, and silt that has been washed down from the Himalayas for millions of years, creating this deep layer of unbelievably fertile land. And where does all this amazing alluvium come from? Well, it's a gift from the 3 mighty river systems that are born in the Himalayas: the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. These rivers have created one of the largest and most fertile plains on the entire planet. And the results of all this geology, you get a landscape that's been called one of the most fertile and densely populated regions on Earth. This is the historical and demographic heart of India. It's where a huge portion of its population lives and farms. All right, leaving the great northern plains behind, our journey is now heading south. We're going to explore 3 more distinct regions: the ancient plateau that forms India's core, its 2 very different coastlines, and its far-flung island territories. Our next stop is the Peninsula Plateau. You can think of this vast triangular tableland as the geological heart of India. It's the oldest part of the country. It's an absolute treasure chest of minerals, and it's framed on either side by 2 big mountain ranges, the Western and Eastern Ghats. Now, between those mountains and the sea, you find the coastal plains, and really, it is a tale of two very different coasts. The western coast is narrow and rocky, kind of squeezed in by the mountains, but the eastern coast, it's much wider and way more fertile, because it's been built up over eons by the huge river deltas that empty into the Bay of Bengal. And that western coast is famous for a unique feature you just won't find on the other side, the backwaters. So what are they? Well, picture these serene networks of lagoons and lakes that run parallel to the sea, created where the ocean water gets trapped behind natural sandbars. They're incredible. For our final stop, we're heading out to sea. India's territory includes two very different groups of islands. Over in the Bay of Bengal, you have the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They're basically the peaks of a submerged mountain range covered in dense tropical forests. By contrast, the Lakshadweep Islands in the Arabian Sea are these tiny, low-lying atolls built entirely from coral, two totally different worlds. And with that, our journey is complete. From the world's highest peaks to fertile plains, ancient plateaus, and tropical islands, it's pretty clear that India isn't just one landscape. It's a collection of many worlds, all combined into one nation. And that leaves us with a really big question. How does a geography this diverse not just shape, but actually define the story, the culture, and the future of a nation of over 1 billion people?